live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexander Newsom, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life and trade. What's going on, folks? Oh, yeah. In the building, getting lit. Blake Anderson, Bill, Dan, Benjamin, Alex, Mr. Webb, Don, Donald, Eric, FC, Felix, Frank, Gary, Jill, JP, Krish, Mauricio, Mike, Nancy, Neil, Rick, Scott, Sharon, and Yates at the party. Man. Woo! I love it. It's Energy Wednesday. So much to talk about. Yeah, not too much going on in the markets. Realistically, we did go up a little bit. Here's the daily chart on the SPY. I'm just kind of get the chart pulled up over here. FC says, thanks for helping me out today. My pleasure. You're welcome. You're already profitable on that trade, FC. So the SPY, pretty much it just retested, all right, gapped up. I mean, that's what Mr. Squiggles wanted it to do. So the stock had to do what Mr. Squiggles wanted it to do, apparently. Retested and just continued higher. A little bit of a small move. So again, towards the end of July, I do kind of plan on slowly peeling off most of my positions, swing trades, short-term swing trades, just in case we get a little bit of a pullback towards the end of July, early August, because I do kind of think with the 2-3 more days of up movement that that's when all the newbies are going to hop on, like right around 283 and some change. And then we'll get a little bit of a pullback. Now, again, that's just a small pullback. I'm just talking about for short-term swings. I mean, that's how S-curves go, right? So you got this S-curve, higher high. This S-curve, higher high. This S-curve, higher high. This S-curve, higher high. I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking out loud. Who knows? And we have no patterns to say that that's ever happened before. We have no way of predicting that, but I don't know. We'll see. Mike Wilson, I'm excited to hang out with you in Chicago, man. It's going to be fun. There's a lot of people already RSVP'd. It's going to be good. FC says, hopefully no February drop. Hopefully. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. That's pretty much, you normally get one and done. That's about it. The Dow, slow grind higher. The IWM, slow grind higher. The Qs, new all-time high yesterday, retested today, inside day candle. And since today is Energy Wednesday, here's the XLE. And the XLE has a nice volume bar, good hammer candle, nice lower shadow, and that's about it. You are in a triangle pattern of some kind, something like this. We will see if that breaks out. But again, if you're playing energies, and that's what we're looking at today, most of my analysis is going to be, bullish to bearish. If you're in, just keep holding, being patient. There's not a whole lot out there. Let's see what happens. That's pretty much going to be most of my analysis for the energy market today. We'll look and see if there's anything else more special. But I do like this little pennant pattern, and I'd love to see energies pop. I think it's entirely possible. Lee says, when are you coming to the D.C. area? That's a very good question. I don't have any D.C. trips planned. Maybe you can email me. We'll talk about it. Depends on how bad you want me up there and by when. Otherwise, it definitely would have to be 2019 because I got 2018 already fully planned out. And I got up until about June of 2019. So, just depends. It depends. But yeah, good question. All right. Any other questions, concerns, thoughts, or opposition viewpoints about the broader markets, ladies and gentlemen? Otherwise, we will hop into some trades. Dan says, I'm seeing some divergence on Facebook. Really? I saw 0, but I can look at Facebook later. Benjamin says, buy the dip. I have to agree. I like buying the dip. It's been working for a while. Cool. Let's go check out these stocks and see if we find any trades. Before we dive in, though, massively far, let's Put that down. Let's go look at some trades that I did get stopped out of today. We're going to look at First Solar and Google. So Google, this is the bear call spread that I've been tracking with everybody. Here's Google. I followed my plan and I exited. Does that mean it's going to work or not? I'm really not sure, but here's the daily chart. It closed above my trigger yesterday. So I said, okay, if it retests tomorrow and kind of goes a little bit higher, I'm going to exit. So I watched it. This is the 15-minute chart. And again, once it broke down and kind of started doing this, once it broke above these highs, I was like, well, I'm just going to exit. Now, it still could expire worthless, but I'm not really concerned about could I have made money or could I have lost money. My main concern is that I follow my plan. I wrote it down. I said what I was going to do, and I did it. That's all you can do as a trader. With a spread, your main goal is to lose small, especially in a somewhat counter-trend trade. It wasn't really counter-trend because we've been at this resistance before, and the people who shorted up here before made money. I was just trying it again, and I did make money initially. In fact, I really could have bought back yesterday at market open for a gain, and I don't know exactly why I didn't do that, but I didn't lose the full amount. That's the only goal that I have in credit spreads. Never lose the margin. I lost about half an R. All is well. So if you're still holding that trade, that's fine. Let me know, but I think everyone's out of it. I did follow my plan perfectly. Then next on the list, which we're already going to look at today anyway, I hope First Solar doesn't pull a drop box on me or something, but First Solar did come down, wigged me out, only to bounce a little bit. So I got stopped out of First Solar. Now, again, that comes down to time frame. If you have a little bit of a longer term time frame on First Solar, you're like, yeah, I'm going to wait like 2-3 months to get out. That's easy. You know, we were only in that trade a week and a half. It just didn't work. So I did move up the stop, did get stopped out, lost a little bit on First Solar. And that was kind of my goal anyway, was probably to exit today. And if you are still in, you could have a stop below the low today. And the weekly candle looks a little bit better, but I'll get that money back on First Solar. We will see, because really at this point, however it gaps, I'm going to try to play it that day. So if it gaps above here, you know, I'm going to play it bullish. And if it gaps down below here, I'm going to play it bearish on a day trade. So I'm ready to get that half an hour loss or so back on First Solar. We'll see if it happens. So between First Solar and Google, lost pretty much an R, and then I did win an R on Clorox. So after commissions, I'm at 7.1 Rs for the month, break even for the day, which is lame because usually Wednesdays are my best days. That's why I spell it like this. But it's all good. No big deal. Taking my 7.1 into tomorrow. That's what I got on First Solar. Now, for those of you who are still playing it, again, if you're still in, great. Earnings is around the corner. First Solar usually does gap pretty frequently on earnings. So time will tell if we gap up here to 50, or again, if we gap up, that'll be a fun one to play. All right, next on the list is HOS. HOS. What do we got? Hornbeck Offshore Services. Oh, yes, that's right. This thing had a really good, nice little breakout. Oil transport, as Benjamin is saying. Look at this. Look at this. Flick of the wrist. This is a weekly chart. Broke above the 100 on a weekly. It was consolidating for a long time. Had a little bit of a pop. $5 stock, so it's not super expensive. Pretty decent volume. You know, 300,000 shares on average. Yeah, I mean, this is the daily chart. You have a pretty gnarly hammer candle that came in on Monday. So if you were looking at buying, I mean, I would say try to look to buy off the 10. And if it does not break out or break down, I would look to try to trade it down probably to 450. So you can either try, it just depends on who's requesting the stock, how long you've been looking at it, if you're already in, that kind of thing. I'd probably look for a pullback to 450. Benjamin says, looks like a wave 5 on a micro trend. That makes sense because you got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Yeah, 450. I like that. Anyway, also, if we go back to the weekly, the 100 simple is about 407. So if it pulls back down to that price, we will see and kind of take it from there. Mauricio, I will put on the list for tomorrow, my brother. All right, next on the list is KDP, Keurig Dr. Pepper. Now this gap is not totally accurate. This is kind of the beginning of a new chart. This is the weekly right here, and here's the daily. So this one, you know, kind of a newer establishment, so to speak. This is a nice little trend. And you got 4 to 5 days of sideways movement. I mean, for anyone who's looking at KDP, talking about a cheaper, pretty much no-brainer, longer-term stock, this would probably be one of them. If you love Dr. Pepper, my uncle, that's his favorite drink to drink is Dr. Pepper. I was down there for 4th of July, and he has like a Dr. Pepper refrigerator. I was like, dude, where's the beer? He doesn't drink beer. So I didn't have any Dr. Pepper because, you know, why? If there's no alcohol in it, I'm just going to drink water. If we're being honest, there's no other reason. Coke and ice? No. Thanks, though. Anyway, Keurig Dr. Pepper. Don says, add the rum or milkshakes. Yes, milkshakes for sure. That's an obvious. Milkshakes are the greatest dessert of all time. Rum and Coke? Now you guys are talking. Woo! Buy the dip or buy the breakout, either one. And it's going to come all the way down to time frame on Keurig, right? Try to figure out what your goal is on this one. You need to answer that question with every stock. Is this an investment? If it's an investment, I mean, don't even look at it. Just hold it, buy it, own it, make sure it's a company you know how they make money, you love their product, all that kind of good stuff. If it's a quick trade, you know, in and out. If you need to pay your bills with it, or you need to take a travel trip somewhere, put a new exhaust on your car, I don't know, whatever you're into. That's Keurig Dr. Pepper, and that's the bottom line. Next on the list, VKTX. Donnie says, I used to put peanuts in my Dr. Pepper. I've heard of that. I have. I like mixing my foods, but not that much. Yeah, I'll get food, I'll mix it all around, but not quite to that level. Viking Therapeutics. This is a stock that has moved real far, real fast. Here's a very cute little trend. So for anyone looking at playing this, if you have the stones, this is a really easy trade based on this candle. I don't think you can really short it. VKTX. No, can't short it, but you can buy puts. They're not great. They're a little spready, but you can buy a $10 put. It's not very expensive. Yeah, I mean, bottom line, you would just play the break of that candle however you want. If it closes below that support, you can buy some puts. If it bounces, you could either buy some calls or buy some shares. It does look a little head and shoulderish to me. It has had a really strong run up. I'm not going to personally play this one, only because I can't be in everything. But that, and I don't really play therapeutic companies like biotech, that kind of thing. Now, the interesting thing is this is a previous old resistance, new support. So, again, if we do close below that, I think it's almost a certainty that we come back to here, which is about 650. So, yeah, you do want to close below that support if you're going to be playing Viking Therapeutics bearish. It looks like almost a no-brainer. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the biggest question is how much does the 4 distribute, consolidate, chop around, and where exactly does it trade to? That is my thoughts on Viking. All right, next on the list is V&E. my cousin Vinny, Veoneer. And here's the daily chart. This was an IPO, and I bet Dawn just absolutely crushed this thing. So you had a really good gap and go on the 10th of July. We're really just keep on trending. We had a nice pullback. So for anyone who's playing this hourly chart, here's the hourly play. And remember, you can play just about any stock on the hourly. It's pretty easy. It pulled back into the 20 exponential moving average, and you had a beautiful gap action. Nice gap and go. Not that you couldn't have known that was going to occur after all of these white candles and a pullback, trade up, pullback. Nice gap, good looking trends. That's really about it. So if you haven't played it, do it again. Wait for the next dip into the 10 or the 20, get an alert set, and then play it on the hourly chart. V&E. Looking good. Next, GoPro. I think there was supposed to be also GPOR. I'll just do both. GPOR. No one cares about GoPro anymore, which is making me try to determine if this is going to be a good buying spot at some point. We'll probably keep waiting a little bit longer on GoPro. The last time it showed some signs of life was right here. And I will wait for a close above there again, a retest. I'll try it again. I tried it back here, and when that didn't work, I lost them all, got out, and I'll see about it again. GoPro is a buyout candidate, yes. I feel like it is anyway. I mean, it's going to hang out here for a while. I'd be kind of surprised for GoPro just to evaporate into the bliss of the stock market. The problem is they have a great product, and no one needs to buy it twice. All right, once you buy a GoPro, you're pretty much done. They made it too good. But they're doing a lot of new things. Falco says, I have a friend who's a pilot, and he got a new GoPro for his helmet, and it has some pretty cool features. Yeah, so I mean, they really are working on things. I don't think they become obsolete. They're going to be around for a while. I'm just really trying to figure out when they're going to start popping. That's what I'm trying to determine. The good news is we did break above the 200 over here last time. It's going to try it again. So very similar. If you're looking to enter GoPro, Pat, there's a few different ways to do it. You can do it with an absolute zero. Just make sure if you're doing this trade, you own a GoPro, you like GoPros, you know how they work, you give them out as gifts, you love the product. You do an absolute zero method on it, where you buy, whatever your risk is. Let's say your risk is 200, just as an example, and divide it by 660, and worst case you lose $200. And just kind of forget about it. That's one way to play it. The other way is wait till earnings, see how they are, and see if something like this happens again on earnings, and go back trade this piece right here. Because I've been talking about this exact thing, Pat, for like 2 years, like GoPro could get bought out. It's going to be a while, but it just seems like a travesty for me, the GoPro, to IPO like this, tank, and then just never recover. But you'll get the signals before it starts. I mean, technicals always rule. The last time I knew it was going to have a battle was this right here. So now it's at 865. So unless it breaks above 865, it's not going anywhere. Johnny says drone cameras are killing them. So we'll see. That's my thoughts on GoPro. I don't personally have any positions, and I'll keep waiting to see what they do on earnings and kind of go from there. I think they get bought out by a drone company, and maybe just for pennies on the dollar. I don't know. Here's another one, Gulfport Energy, weekly chart. Tons of volume coming in on this candle right here, this bearish candle that occurred on the 22nd of June. So based on that, I'd probably play this one in double steps. I would buy a smidge down here at that resistance at about 1050, and I would look to buy a little bit more at 1150. So that would kind of be like my half an R and half an R worth of risk. And I'd probably have a stop down here at 950. So the risk reward, not too bad actually. Do half an R at 1150, half an R at 1050. Earnings is about 3 weeks away, and we'll see if it kind of goes from there. A short on GPOR. No, not big. This volume is really interesting, and the fact we're making higher lows is also kind of interesting. It did break above. I think this is a natural, healthy retest. I'd look for it to rebound, personally. Could be wrong. Probably am. But the weekly, that's a pretty nice double bottom on a weekly. Had some really good volume. Right now, the bearish volume is pretty much horrendous. So, yeah, I'd like to see a little bit of a dip and then a bounce on Gulfport Energy. Next on the list is WTI, up 1.72%. And WTI, we are now going to have this trade. Oh, when's earnings? Let's see. August 1st. We got time. This is a cheap one. This is a cheap one right here. Hey, Clarence, did you get yourself a Dr. Pepper? Go in the fridge and get me a Dr. Pepper. All right, entry there. Stop there. 837 by 763. I planned this one for about 2 weeks. So you had a nice, this had a good pullback, and today is a wicked pair candle. Jesse, I know. Jesse said, I just tried calling you, and I realized you're in the afternoon room. I saw my phone ring. I almost answered. I was like, dude, you know where I am. You've been here for years at the same time. All good, man. Just messing with you. I like WTI, and that's a new official trade setup. All right, WNT offshore. New official swing trot. Swing trot. So again, we got stopped out of other trades, and I know it sounds crazy, guys, but I really don't care when I get stopped out. Get into a trade, mitigate risk. A profitable one is coming. Just plan, search, look, scan, whatever works for you. 837. Ron says end of day. Nope, doesn't need to be end of day on this one. I'm fine with taking a retest. That's why I'm doing a stop limit. It's a little bit of a cheaper stock. You do have 3 white candles in a row, but the doji on this hourly looks pretty good. I could probably do a stop at 837 and like a limit at like 830, 31 if you want to get fancy. I mean, I'm game to play the retest on it. I'm okay for something like this. We could do that if you want. Thanks, Ben, for posting the Wicked Pair Candle video. I appreciate that, brother. Should I get fancy with this one or just let it ride? Because it had the retest. Right, this is the pullbacker right there. And we're not getting in quite the S-curve. We're getting close. Yeah, I think I'll just roll with it. I'll just go 837. I probably could get a little bit cheaper, but I'm not going to stress about it. 763 shares. I think it's a really good setup based on a retest gap, open because it's not triggered yet. And we'll throw that right there. All right, that's WTI, newest swing trade, and earnings are August 1st. That's what I got. Next on the list, we have DQ. And DQ up 4% today. This one has been really wild and rowdy. So here's the weekly chart, and this one did, if you look at the long terms, the low of this candle, did I set my stop too tight? 35.17? No, not really. Maybe, but it barely peaks down into that price. I mean, it looks like it's trying it again. So obviously that one didn't work well. So if you're playing, if you wanted to play DQ. I would wait for an end of day close about 38.68, and I put my stop at 34.68. So you'd have $4 of risk. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to play that one officially. Move this over here. 34.68. But whoever requested that one, yeah, I get it. That's all I got on DQ. And that's all I got. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Next on the list, we got ourselves, we already looked at First Solar, Chesapeake Energy. Oh boy. Here is Chesapeake, ticker symbol CHK. And Chesapeake, woo, Squiggles. Coming out the game, showing off his tricks. Man. So he doesn't get it all the time, but when he does, it really is quite fascinating that some of this stuff can play out like that. Yeah, solid. So nice pullback. Here's the weekly, and you're pulling back to the 100 simple on a weekly. I figured it was going to pull back. So bottom line, if you're looking at playing it bullish, that's the curve that it had, and coming into earnings, I would go in above the high of today's hourly candle. So for anyone looking at playing CHK, it would be 473 by 443, 30 cents of risk. That's pretty much about it. I think here's the 50 EMA, and the 50 EMA right on top of the 50. Yep. That would be it. 443, that's a good stop. Benjamin says, they do natural gas. Yeah, they do. They do a little bit of natural gas. A little bit of natural gas. Okay, that's pretty much it. Hammer on the 50. Next on the list is Pepsi. Give me some more Pepsi. I want some Pepsi. Did not trigger into the trade that we wanted. How are we going to play Pepsi? I mean, I really don't want to keep chasing it. I loved our setup numerous times. But what I have to do now, and you guys all know what's coming, don't you? I'm going to have to set up a trade and then wait all the way until tomorrow. Ugh. It's the worst. Now, the thing is, if we take out the low of today, which I would want, it's going to retest a little bit farther. But if we get another inside day candle tomorrow, which I don't think we do, but if we do, the reason I'm being aggressive with this trade, because it's all about that gap. I mean, that one right there is what else do you want? And it's Pepsi, so we all know how they make money. I'm chasing it. Yeah, you're right. So what if you thought it and just didn't type it in? I'm just going to wait on Pepsi. I really did like the breakout. That's why we had it set up. We just missed it by a little bit too, not by much. I mean, by just a smidge. The good news is we'll buy the dip later. And secondly, JL Moosey did make some money on this one, so that's good news. So it's not like I just totally flubbed this one. Other traders made money, and that's all that matters. Next on the list, Stamps.com. Ticker symbol STMP at 275er. Look at that pennant pattern. Whoa, Wilbur. That is a pennant. Look at that. And I'm pretty sure today's candle is an inside day candle. High 275.90. Ooh, 5 cents above a perfectly inside day candle. With volume increase. Well, I don't have any position on Stamps.com. Type in a 3 if you can see that S curve, though. Not that I played it, but look at this Morningstar pattern. Oh, yeah. And the third candle of the Morningstar at the 50 was a shaved top candle. Entry there, stop there. Yes. So from here, if you're looking at playing it, I mean, I would just play the breakout if it makes a move higher tomorrow. Sharon's got some calls. So yeah, if it makes a higher high and a higher low tomorrow, keep holding. Looks good. Trend's nice. It's aggressive trend for sure. Stamps.com. Who would have guessed? Now here's the other thing, and Pat, I'm gonna blame you on this one, my man. This is all your fault. How did you not tell me about this retest of this previous all-time high at 170? It's either Ben or Pat's fault. One of the two. I can't take the blame myself. But that's $100 ago on Stamps. Look at the tech bubble. Oh. It went, oh man, $4 a share. I mean, that is classic tech bubble. The problem is, we all knew, I mean, gosh, I wish I had a time machine. I'm telling you, first person makes a time machine, let me know. Don't tell anyone else. I'll make you more money than anyone else. Secondly, Stamps.com, you know how they make money. People do buy stamps online. You know, they sell stamps. I get their business model. Here's a question. Does anyone think that at some point stamps will go away? Is mail going to become irrelevant? At some point in the future, are we just going to like microfax something, kind of break it down into what it is, and then just fax its electrons and protons across the world and then reappear on the other side of the world? But do it with everything, TVs, refrigerators. I think for the next few hundred years, stamps will be around. You gotta send physical stuff until we can deparkalize something and send it across the airwaves. We'll need stamps. I don't know why that was funny, but Don says I would like to be electrofaxed. Oh, that's rich. Anyway, Sharon says she wants to make her profit first before that happens. Yeah, I mean, eventually, if and when. Oh wow, that's a very nice pattern that I just spotted. Some type of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like I said, I think it makes a new all-time high, and then we have like an A, B, C, and we pull back to about 200, and that'll be the next longer-term buying opportunity. So anyway, that's what we got on Stamps. Next on the list, we got BJ's Wholesale. Took some with BJ, down 2%, and here is the daily chart. And I've been keeping an eye on this one just to see if and when it's going to break out. Hasn't broken out yet, but this is a nice little candle on the 10. On the 10 again. So yeah, if we come back tomorrow and this still looks good, I'm down. 26.64 by 24.64, just make it easy. I'm game with that. We'll come back tomorrow because I got risk open, getting stopped out, or exiting Google, exiting First Solar, canceling Pepsi. I canceled Pepsi, right? Nope. Cancel Pepsi. Okay. So tomorrow's Thursday, right? All day. Next on the list, LNG. LNG up 1.5. Morningstar reversal on LNG. Don't have any positions in this one. Only can't be in everything. There's the 100 simple. If it makes a higher high and you want to get in bullish, that would be the spot. Here's the weekly, and you're also at the 20 EMA on the weekly. I mean, I don't think we've ever bounced off the 20 EMA on the weekly before. I mean, at least if we have, it was so long ago that I can't remember. But I do know that it's in a bullish trend right now, and we're making higher lows and higher highs. So I'm not saying it's going to bounce, just simply saying if it does, this is where it would. A little bit of a longer term play, though, LNG has been. I've had some traders that played it 2013, 14, 15, wrote it down 2015, 16, and bought more 2016 and riding it back up. It will get back up to its previous all-time highs before. And the reason I say that with astute confidence is because that pattern. That's healthy. Real healthy. All right, that's my thoughts on LNG. Morningstar reversal. Next on the list, I heard a rumor that some people are getting into British Petroleum today. Some real-life traders are getting into BP. I got about 46 messages today about BP. Put sales, shares, all kinds of other stuff. Earnings are coming up in August. Jesse James Levan is in some shares. Do you have any covered calls or anything, Jesse? Probably not. Covered call premium has been pretty much bogus. This is the perfect spot to enter, in my opinion. And if you're in, cool. That's pretty much about it. Jesse, do you have dividends reinvested on BP? Are you like buying more shares with the dividends? Or like, is it in a drip or is it in an account? I don't think it's a drip. I think it's an account. Because the only way you can buy fractional reserves, to my knowledge, is in a drip. But you got on reinvest. Cool. So BP, I mean, bottom line, this is the spot. If you're buying something or selling puts, this is where. And I did have a trader who was asking about a target. 200 simple on a monthly chart would be a short-term target if you want to take a 10% gain there. That's where I would. Hoorah! All right, next on the list, we got ourselves WWE, which somehow is defying gravity for now. But I think it's time for my famous "Don't Be That Guy" chart. Don't be that person. Okay? Don't be that person. All I'm saying is I wouldn't personally buy right here. I know how WWE makes money. Good for them. Super happy for Vince. However, buy the dip. Good old Vince. Me and him, man, we go back to when I was 12, watching Kane and The Undertaker, Goldberg, Stone Cold Steve Austin. The good old days. And I remember the first time I learned the skills of an articulated argument. I was 13, and I was in middle school, and one of my buddies, Zach, came up to me wearing a Stone Cold 316 shirt, and some other person was making fun of me and him for talking about and liking wrestling. He's like, you know that stuff's just fake, right? They're not really punching each other. And I said, you know Tom Cruise didn't actually get murdered in Mission Impossible, right? It's all fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're watching a movie, it's none of this is real. So anyway, the Hulk. Yeah. Hello, brother. Man, I used to have a really good Hulk Hogan impression and a Randy Macho Man Savage impression. What I'm saying is, I used to watch wrestling when I was younger. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. And I'm not afraid to admit it. Look at this doji. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. You know what? I haven't done a straddle strangle in a long time. I might just do one. Whew, that's expensive for August. Lord have mercy. All right. I know we got 20 minutes left. One of the things that I like to do when I'm looking for a strangle is determine and dictate where it would gap and trap people. So I would buy a put here, and I'd buy a call nice and far out of the money, because if it does gap up on earnings, it's going to gap up and certainly fade, right? So I might realistically look at this, because that doji is delish. All right, so a $70 put I could buy for $1.25. And then a $90 call I could buy for $1.50. So that means all in all, we're talking $275. So I could do pretty much. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do this officially. I've never tracked a strangle before, and I don't really know how I would go about that. If you've never done this trade before, do it virtually. Type in a 1 if you understand that. If you have no idea how to do this, I'm going to spell it out for you. Just do this virtually if you've never done a strangle before. So you got to get a general idea of how it works. I'm looking for massive movement. But based on this doji, I will get into the trade based on the doji. So this is going to be, all right, I'll just type it in. Buy to open, $90 August call for $1.50 limit. I'll do $1.55 limit to make sure I get filled. I think it would fill with that. No, I'm gonna have to do $1.60. Okay, I'll put this on top. And then this one, if it breaks this doji, I will buy to open. That's what BTO stands for. Buy to open, $70 August put. And that will be for, I don't know, $1.30 limit. And if we do this trade down, I'll still buy the call, but for cheaper, okay? So I'll still buy the call if it trades down there just cheaper than $1.60. And I'm only going to risk 1R on the trade. Now, mathematically, I'll show you how this trade works. It's actually a very cool strategy. Let's say hypothetically, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, let's just say it does. If WWE does what it should do and gaps down on earnings to like 69, then my call becomes worthless. I don't worry about that. But my put should be worth around $3 and some change, at least. Around $3. So I will be at break even on the trade pretty much. And then if it continues lower and trades into 62, then, you know, I'll make 2-3 R's. Lease is expiration day for the play. So when I write in August, I just mean regular August. So this is, WWE doesn't have any other expiration other than regular August. So it's really easy for this one. So again, if you've never done this, I would please suggest just do this virtually just to practice it. This play is more or less saying, I don't know which direction it's going to go, but I'm going to figure it out what's going to happen. And I'm going to be in regardless. Now, what happens if it trades down, right? I'm in my put, and then I buy a call before earnings, and the call gaps up. So let's say the stock gaps up to 90. I'm going to sell my call, and I'm going to buy more puts up here. Because, yeah, I'm trying to pick the top on WWE. But I will only still risk an R on that particular trade. This is not me going, oh, WWE is about to crash to 0. No, I don't think that's going to happen. So I'll be protecting myself. Make sense? Awesome. That's my thoughts on WWE. Here's IQ. Killer move last 2 days. Retesting today. Really excited about this put sale. Falconium says, these are contingent on the move of WWE. Yes, they're contingent. So I will only buy the put if it breaks the doji of today and I will only buy the call if it breaks the high of the doji of today. That is correct. So those are going to be contingent on the price action. IQ. I really like these put sales. They're going to expire worthless Friday. And I like the retest today. Simple as that. I mean, if you're in IQ, you probably have a stop at 34.27. If it does not bounce tomorrow, which is Thursday, it is my thought that we're going to do this and we're going to wick down. So I'm going to set a limit buy right in that little gap. I think it's just going to run through those stops. Just make sure everyone's nice and pissed off, and then it bounces. That would make sense for IQ to do that. So I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying if it does and you're not in IQ and you're looking at a spot to get in, I think it'd be right about there, 31.80. Other than that, if you're in IQ, hope it continues higher. It's a nice looking retest gap today. The hourly chart looks pretty toasty. So here's the hourly. I'd love it to trade down and bounce, but it really very well might not. Here's the 4-hour chart on IQ and a trade down to the 10. So again, if it doesn't bounce tomorrow, which it should, then if you want to take a small profit, it just depends on your time frame. Some people are investing in IQ. They want to be in this one for years. If that's the case, that's fine. Ashley's in this one for a while. She got back in, no joke, almost got the exact low of this candle. Her limit order was 29. Not that we spent an hour determining where to buy or anything, but yeah, sold at 44, got in at 29. Ladies, what is she doing? Killer. All right, and when these put sales expire, I'll be doing some more on IQ because that premium was solid. All right, next on the list, HK. I know what everyone's thinking about HK, and it is not doing anything great. That is for sure. I have 2 or 3 traders that have this particular setup. If you have a stop on HK, remember I do not. I mean, really, it just made a new low, just enough to hit people's stops because that was too obvious, right? I mean, to have a stop right below there, it's too obvious. So it makes sense it was going to flash below there and bounce. If crude makes a new high and we're not above 6 by the end of the year, I'll probably get out. Because if crude makes a new high, like into the 80s, and it doesn't get up there, then, I mean, I don't know what, doing something wrong. So bottom line, as I mentioned to everyone right now, I'm going to lose 2 R's on 2.2 R's if it goes to 0. I have no stop on this thing. I'm prepared for it to go to 0, made the investment, and now from here, goes to 0. All right, no big deal. So I'm going to lose about 1,200 buckaroonies if it goes to 0. If it does not go to 0, great. I'll probably give it 3-4 months, and I'll start increasing the stop to $1, then 2, then 3. And by some point during that time, I'll determine if I want a dollar cost average or something, and you can have just an R worth of risk on the table. But anyway, that's my thoughts on HK. I love this candle, and I think a lot of people are trapped. I think a lot of people got stopped out today. So if you're not an HK and you want to maybe board the train with me on an absolute 0 play, feel free to, but that's pretty much what I got. Fernando says, why do you like the stock so much? Man, they got great land. They got great oil reserves. They got some great holdings. They used to pay dividends, and they're one of the few energy stocks that came out of bankruptcy already. Already got out of bankruptcy and has restructured their entire company. I mean, that happened very quickly. So that's pretty strong of the energy companies that have done that. I mean, like I said, I know I'm looking at this weekly chart, and I see it looks like death. But all of this was what it previously did. So it's already come back out of bankruptcy, one of the first to do so. And yeah, so go in and pull up some of their holdings and some of their land in the Prime Meridian. Figure out some of their holdings. They have a lot of holdings next to Rig and some next to Valero. They have a lot of offices in Houston. Went down to Houston, spoke to some of their employees. They feel like the company's been running really well. So I don't know. We'll see. But it's also just really, really undervalued, I feel like. I mean, most energy companies out there have gone a little bit higher, you know. But the absolute zero portion, that just means, Fernando, that I mean, there's no way I'm going to lose a lot on this trade, right? 2 R's, it's not that big of a deal. If I only had $1,700 in my name, or 1,000 or 10,000, whatever, I wouldn't be putting it all in this stock without question. But I don't really see that big of a risk if it goes to zero. To already come out of bankruptcy, I just don't see it's going to happen. They're not going to go bankrupt again immediately. Otherwise, I would have just stayed in bankruptcy. I don't know. So anyway, that's all I got. But yeah, the reason I did the absolute zero method is because it's so cheap. It's only $3 a share. If it was like $15 a share, I would have actually done a legit setup. You know, but even with an R of 100, you can buy shares on this with an absolute zero, you know. That's all. We'll see. I love today's candle, though. It trapped a lot of people. Fingers crossed. Yeah. We'll see. And on the side note, I've only been in the trade since May 29th. So just keep that in mind. If you're like, man, this is taking forever. It's been a month and a half. Just so we're on that boat. Okay, Etsy. Strong bullish trend, looking good. I cannot believe I missed this candle right here on the 28th of June. Few traders are in Etsy. Remember, I was looking at the other day, and I thought it was going to gap down. It did not, obviously. Bouncing off the 20. Gorgeous gap and go. Etsy's just going to keep on running. This is a stock that I do plan on doing a put sale on. If there's premium. And there's not really. 35, maybe on a down day for August. Even over earnings, you're only going to get 20, maybe 25 cents. So I'm going to wait on Etsy. If you're in shares, keep holding. Looks nice. Next on the list, CVS. And CVS trading real sideways. Here's the weekly chart. Not much to look at there. Oh, it's supposed to be Chevron. Yeah, not CVS. I just typed that in wrong. I remember who was asking. Here's Chevron. I was like, CVS. No one cares about CVS. Just kidding. Chevron. Really good pullbacks here. So again, I mean, this is another energy company that has just really been rallying nicely since 2016. And the daily time frame, you're, wow, smack dab between the 100 and 200. That's a very interesting spot on Chevron. Earnings is coming right around the corner, however. I don't personally want to own any shares of Chevron. But if I did, a 110 put sale does have 42 cents of premium, which is not outrageous. And you can pretty much just buy that one back right after earnings because you know, unless Chevron gaps below 118, you're pretty much okay on that. So, and even if you're not, I mean, why would you not want to buy at 110 when it was at 130 days ago? Secondly, if you want to short-term trade this one into earnings, that is a hammer right there. So I'd be keeping my pretty little blue eyes on Chevron with a gap above the high of today. If you're going to day trade it, I know some people like day trading Chevron every now and then. It does have a pretty good move range. And the high is 121.67. So a gap up of like 121.80 would be fresh. Okay, next on the list, Pivotal Software. PVTL up 1.28%. Love the lower shadow. That looks good. I like that lower shadow a lot. Like the moving averages a lot. If you're in, stay in. Looks good. Next on the list is AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. A little bit of a higher high, a little bit of a higher low. I dig that. I like the lower shadow. Still think we're in a wave 5. This was a really good retest. We pulled into the 10. If you're in AMD, my thought would be to keep holding. What's the target? I'm not really sure. That's going to come down to your time frame, how long you want to be in the trade, all that kind of good stuff. I don't think this is a wave 2, but how amazing would that be? How amazing would AMD be if this was a wave 2 and this wave 3's? Possible. So if you're an AMD, I mean, don't be afraid of the fact that it could really just start ripping. I mean, this was a phenomenal trend right here. All started with a gap and go. So what I'm saying is, yeah, if you're in some shares, don't be afraid to be in for a while. Consider it. If you like AMD, if you work there, if you're a computer person, you know how they make money, you use their chips, whatever the process is. If you don't know anything about them at all, you don't want to be in the trade, that's okay. I'm not in AMD. Can't be in everything. But I do like the trend. I do like day trading it. One of my buddies, Seymour, this is the only thing he day trades is AMD. This is it. Makes about 20 hours a month just trading AMD. Kind of crazy. He trades it in 10-cent increments. He has a stop at 10 cents, sells it at 20 or 30. Pretty cool. Only AMD, that's right. Yep. Plenty of volume on this thing, though. It moves a lot. Here's QD. I think I looked at QD, or is it DQ? I looked at DQ. QD. What's it trying to do? Bad boys, bad boys. What you gonna do? QD. We'll come back Friday. I do like this support, but it's still in a downtrend. So I mean, this was the setup originally. I get it. So if you're in, totally understand. I don't mind trying it again. This is a really good support. So the question is, when is it going to bounce? Down here. So QD and Linden Club will put on the list for Finance Friday. All right. Next on the list, Microsoft MSFT earnings around the corner pretty soon, in fact. Don't have any positions in Microsoft, but it's a nice trend. July 19th is tomorrow. Let's do some analysis on Microsoft. And is it tomorrow after close, I believe? So if it gaps down into here, I would buy it. Green earnings. So tomorrow after market close, if it gaps down into here, I'd buy it. And really, if it gaps up into here, I'd buy it as well. I mean, it's a nice bullish trend. This was a very nice S curve, and it can easily go higher. The only way I'd short Microsoft is if it has like a gnarly gap, or if it just opens right below this red line, maybe I short it. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Microsoft pre-earnings analysis. I don't see any reason for this one to slow down. A gap down into the green box, bullish. A gap up into the green box, bullish. Hashtag buy the dip. Hashtag buy the salsa. Buy that queso. Chart patterns, trend analysis, all is looking good. Microsoft, bam, bam. That's pretty much all I got. And we'll put it on the list for tomorrow. I know a lot of you do have shares of Microsoft. Cool. Coolerino. Sometimes they call me Duderino for brevity. All right. Next on the list, AMAT had a little bit of a cute gap today, up 2%. Nice little retest gap, and we're going to look at this one real close tomorrow. I tried AMT not too long ago, as you guys remember, and lost on it. And this is a nice little black candle. So This is a retest gap. If we break higher, I'm game. Even if we don't, I'm just going to give it 2-3 days. I might buy it on a retest. Pretty much just going to try it again off of that 100. So I'm beginning to plan my next trade on AMAT bullish right now. Played it recently, lost, no big deal, don't care, going to try it again. We'll come back to it tomorrow. But be cautious, watch it. Fitbit, ticker symbol FIT, that's Fiat. Here's Fitbit. FIT down 1.34%, very similar to GoPro, and just got Mike Tyson. That's the 100 simple on a weekly. It ain't going anywhere until it gets above there. Man. So, yeah, Fitbit, wouldn't worry about it right now. We'll come back and look at that next week. We'll glance at it. If it gaps above their own earnings, great. But until then, womp womp. SIRI up almost 1% today. Nice little trend. I think there's some traders in this one bullish. I'm not one of those. But the trend looks good. Pretty nice little trend, man. Just a slow grind higher. People still listen to radio when they drive, and people still pay to get information on radio. Radio advertisements do work, though. Sometimes when I'm driving, rarely, I'm not listening to an audiobook, I'll have the radio on. And I've bought things off of a radio ad before. It works. Yeah, trend looks good. Earnings are right around the corner. So is dividends. If you're in bullish, stay bullish. Just looking at this one for a couple of traders, letting everyone know that Dr. Falconium has purchased back his put sales that he sold for August. That simple. Sold them on a down day around here, got paid crazy premium. And I actually think he sold them on these days. I don't remember. Anyway, good job, bud. Bought back his put sales. Let's see if it does it again. Next target, $80.19. VZUN going higher. Buy the dip. ENB, Enbridge. So this one's interesting. We looked at and we wanted to break out not too long ago with this new white soldier candle. As you can see, and it didn't break out higher than that. And it is retesting this retest gap. So on the weekly chart, that's a maybe. Enbridge, this is a big energy company and did trade back down to its 2016 lows at 30. We might be so lucky to see it down there again. Let's come back to ENB. We'll look at it Friday and see if we can play it off that support, maybe for a longer term trade. And got two more. ICLN from a man, Ken, the Firestarter Freeman. Clean Energy Index Fund, trading sideways. Got some supports on the weekly chart. Here's the daily. I like this little trend. And Mr. Freeman's playing it on the hourly. He's looking for this to be a flag pattern, I believe. Yeah, it looks good, man. I mean, the good news is you'll find out if you're wrong pretty quickly. We'll stop there. So there's the bounce. Here's the flag. And if it breaks higher, I get it. Makes sense to moi. And last but not least, divergence on Facebook. I did not notice it, but it's certainly possible. Made new all-time high today. Let me go to templates. Let me go look at this MACD really quick. No divergence there. Let me look at a weekly chart. No divergence there. Let me look at RSI maybe. RSI. A little bit of divergence on RSI. Yep. Which doesn't mean anything other than momentum can just slow down. So I'm not saying on Facebook's going to zero. I personally am ready to short Facebook if it gaps up on earnings. I do plan on shorting Facebook day trade if she gaps up on earnings. Weekly RSI divergence. Otherwise, just buy a dip, that kind of thing. I hope it gaps down because we'll have a lot of fun with some put sales. Facebook, though, over the next 18 months, likely will be at $300 a share. Powerful, powerful company. Earnings are going to just absolutely crush. All right, folks, what do you want to look at tomorrow? That's all I got for today. Boom, Thursday. Here we go. Yates says MGM might be gapping down tomorrow. All right, we can look at MGM. We can look at Blue Apron. We got RTN on the list, AVLR, Philip Morris, Zoe's, Southwest Airlines had a good gap today, NEW, LTM, AVEO, BJ, Microsoft, AMAT, Activision Blizzard, Take-Two Interactive, Tesla. That it? All right, team. I'll be checking them out tomorrow. I'll be here. Same time, same place. If you have any questions, just let me know. See ya.